is very fluid and can be used within any project or anything that we do or anything that anyone else does. And so the components of the training is to really teach people what it means to serve on the groups. And then we have a series of different tools. And so it can really be used in a variety of different ways. And that's just a snapshot. The tools that I put up in there is just a snapshot of what we use. And so over the years, we've trained people how to deliver the Serving Young Groups training. And we've trained people on how to use the tools with the Serving Young Groups training. So we have a whole cadre of people that have been trained on using Serving Young Groups. And then I have monthly meetings with them because we also use it interchangeably with different things that we do. Is there a particular tool that because you can really use it with anyone. It's not, it's not necessarily specific for women. It's just this project was geared toward women. And we do hope that in our next iteration that we're waiting for the grantee to let us know that we got the next grant, that we're actually going to be incorporating men and women and families and being able to train men as well with the Serving Young Groups as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about the parenting trainings we do for home visiting families that are receiving home visiting services specifically, and not only that, but any community group or even at work. When you're stepping back and taking a look at of trying to keep everything organized and in order, and it looked like it was at a level that it didn't have to be folks that had degrees and things like that. It could be.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And matter of fact, speaking of home visiting in New Jersey, in New Jersey and at SPAN, we do a lot of partnering with our Title V. And so we do have another project that's actually going to be providing training and using the Serving Young Groups with the home visitors here in New Jersey. And so that's going to be part of one of the projects, one of the early childhood projects that we have in New Jersey. So, and they're going to be using that Serving Young Groups training. So it's really interchangeable for anybody. It can be even used for teens and youth. And you can change like the wording, however you want to use it. And like I said, those tools that I put up in there, it's just a snapshot. Like the whole training has a whole host of variety of different tools in there. It's just when I do the training, I select which ones that are best done virtually, because we did it as a virtual training, 4 parts, because it's 8 parts to the training. And then we do 2 sessions because the sessions are relatively short. And so we do 2 sessions per week. And then we would do a 25 minute sessions around the tools, whatever tool we were using that week.
I love the adaptability of the tools. And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like they're not proprietary. It sounds like you're inviting people to use them for different things. That's great.
Yeah. And I know because with the Serving Young Groups, I also work on the Leadership Family Professional Partnerships project with under Family Voices. So SPAN has a collaboration with that. And so with that project, for the first few years of the project, we actually did a lot of trainings for Title V for parent organizations, and they were done in a variety of different states. So we haven't been doing that like this year, but I think they're going to go back to that in the next iteration of the Family Voices LFPP grant, or maybe called something else. The thing they may be going back to, and I can take that information back, that it would be good if we go back to doing the national Serving Young Groups trainings as we've been doing them. So that's good for me to take back, but that people will be interested in having that training again, because you can take the training and then take it as a trainer. We do it as a trainer, and then you're able to turnkey that information back. But you can also go on to the Serving Young Groups website to get an idea of the information. And then when we do the trainings, we do it as a trainer with the activities and showing people how to do it.
I'm just going to say that I would appreciate you guys doing training nationally too, because I think that's something that our organization would be interested in.
Yeah, one, if you guys can give me your emails and then I can start an email list when Diana or 10 gets back, because there's something we just started talking about with Family Voices about what does the next grant look like. And I believe, like I said, one of the things that's come about is us beginning to do the survey groups trainings. And we have another component to it called leading by convening. And so leading by convening is kind of like a sister training to the surveying groups, and that it kind of takes it a little bit higher level, and it was done with a lot of state organizations to help them to understand that parents, if you give parents the opportunity to lead when you're convening different meetings and having parents in those meetings to provide you with information. And so that helps people to get them the tools of how to do that effectively. So it's kind of like a sister training that we would do. Okay. Definitely do that. Yeah, because I think it's time that we get back, because we haven't done the national trainings in a long time, a couple of years. And I think it would be good if we begin to do them, because I think it's a very useful training. You know, you can use it, you use all of it, you use components of it, you can just use the tools, you know.
Seems great. And I'm thinking back to what Tamara was saying about home visiting programs, and it's just very complementary to that, being that many
Yeah.
of the evidence-based home visiting programs do require there to be community advisory boards, and
Yeah.
just helping to give parents and community members, you know, that information would be wonderful. And I also really like what you said about providing the tools, just even to us as staff. Everybody can use this information, and it would just be just amazing to have more access to it.
Yeah, we have here in New Jersey, we have organizations called Family Success Centers, and they have a lot of home visiting individuals that work with them. And they've been contacting us back, because we used to have a grant through our Department of Health to provide the training to them, and then the grant went away. But some of them have been reaching out to us, and then I've actually been doing it for them as a fee for service. I have another one that wants it, and they're willing to pay for it to have us do it for them, because right now it's not, you know, unless people wait until I do my training, which is usually in March, then or until Family Voices puts it back into their program, you know, that's kind of the only way that people are kind of having access to it at the moment. But I'm hoping that Family Voices will pick it up again and put it as part of the grant, the next iteration of the grant.
Nice. Oh, we have several people coming into the room now.
I see.
Mhm. For the benefit of those who just joined, Nicole, would you mind giving just a quick recap of some of the things that we've just spoken about?
So hi, everyone. I hope everyone is well. So my name is Nicole, and we've been talking about the leadership training that the survey groups, which is the training that I use within my Empowering Women project to develop women as leaders, and that the training is very flexible, where you can use it for in a variety of different settings. And it's really about enhancing individuals as leaders within their community, and whatever that looks like for someone. So someone may want to sit on a community advisory board. Someone may want to sit on their school board, whatever that is. So it provides the tools about how to do that effectively. Like, what is it? What is an advisory board? What do they do? What is a board of ed, you know, sitting on the board of ed, what does that does? You know, what questions can you ask? You know, how do I understand how to tell my story? How do I ensure that the group is very culturally sensitive, right? And so all those different components and things that people can use for a variety of different reasons, whether it be for women or parents or men or families or youth, the training is very flexible in that way.
As you were speaking, I just had a thought and a question, and I'm not sure if this is beyond the scope of the training or what you think about this idea, but there's such a need for more community engagement
Mm,
and for state agencies, local agencies, community-based organizations. Um, Actually, I think CBOs already have a better handle on this kind of information, but it seems like many state and local and national agencies want to engage more with community. And your training sounds like it does a fantastic job of giving those community members
mhm.
tools that they need. But is there an arm of your training that gives the state and local health departments and other agencies training on what we need to know about in terms of what our expectations should be around working with communities so that we don't perpetuate
Yeah,
elements of systemic racism and things like, so that we don't unintentionally harm.
yeah. So that would be the leading by convening. And
Okay.
so that is specifically, not that it's not meant for family organizations or people working family, but that was very targeted to state and other higher level individuals to be able to understand what it means when you're going to convene parents. What do you need to look for? What do you need to do? And what do you need to understand? And so that is our leading by convening training. And like I said, right now we're not doing it, and particularly unless someone really wants it and they're like, I will pay you to do it. But like I said, I'm hoping that it will come back as a activity as part of the next iteration of the Family Voices grant that they're writing. But yeah, so the leading by convening is kind of like that piece. We did that, and we were doing the leading by convening. We actually convened a lot of people who worked at the state offices, and we had parents and we had family organizations within the same room, and just really understanding, with some of the tools we had there about what it means to convene when you're convening parents at the state level and not having your biases sitting right there about, what does this parent have that this other parent doesn't have just because of what they look like. We can't make those assumptions because all parents have something to say. It doesn't matter who they are, what they look like, right? Mm-hmm. And then we need to be able to convene them without having those biases in mind, right?
Absolutely.
So we have it leading by convening, yeah. And you can find information, you can read about it. It actually, there's a link on the Serving Your Groups page. And there's a link to leading by convening. You can see like an overview of more of the information that's that I'm talking about.
Okay. Great.
And we hopefully will be doing these trainings maybe at the Federation of Children's Mental Health Conference coming up in October. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I will definitely keep people apprised, when we're going to be able to do it again as part of the Family Voices project. And like I said, unless someone really wants it, then right now it's it can be done as a fee for service.
Okay.
I'm gonna put.
It's wonderful information. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Please feel free to come off of mute and ask any questions or provide any comments that you'd like. This is a good, small, intimate group of us.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry to be late. This is Jean McMahon.
That's my counterpart there.
Sorry, I was in another meeting, an overlapping meeting. So sorry to be late, but I just wanted to check in and say hello. I'm Jean McMahon. I'm the Senior Director of State and Local Programs at SPAN. And this, Nicole's project is one of our very successful initiatives. if you've been asking questions and you've heard from Nicole, you know why. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, I was elaborating a lot around the survey and groups training that we use and how we use it not just in within our project, but on many other projects, and how it's very adaptable for any type of group that you want to use it for training. And then, talking about the leading by convening, and I explained how we were a few years ago under Family Voices project, how we used to do the national trainings, and hopefully that will come back again. There's some talk about that coming back as part of the next iteration of the Family Voices LFPP, although I'm not sure if they're going to call it LFPP anymore, but there's some talk about bringing that back to doing some surveying groups leading by convening national trainings again. But I'm definitely going to let Diana know there's definite interest, and I'm sure there's probably interest in other areas. Sorry, I forgot to turn my ringer off my phone. And how we've been successful and trained. This year we trained 52 women, and I think over the past 3 years, it's around 160 women altogether that have gone through the training and really been able to use the tools to be able to enhance their leadership skills in the community. And I was talking about, because I posted some of the tools that we use, like the, I don't know if you saw the, I can't even think, the telling your story tool that we use, and that how important it is to teach women in this aspect how to use aspects of their story to be able to share with testimony with state offices if they're looking for information, and teaching women how to tell their story, and looking and understanding what of their culture and how to explain things of their culture so people understand where they're coming from, being able to share. But that storytelling piece being vitally important. And I think that's just vitally important for everyone. When we have individuals tell their story at the block grant hearing, when we do it, and how important that is about how the programs that are supported by maternal child health in New Jersey, and then how that is in Title V in New Jersey, they appreciate that on a very high level because we have a really good partnership with them. So Tamara, can you tell us more about your partnership? Do you have partnerships with your organizations that are in Arkansas?
Well, we actually contract with our Children's Hospital to roll out our 4 of our home visiting models, and then we roll one out, the Nurse Family Partnership through the health department. But we have lots of different partnerships, but there's a lot of push right now to engage families in more grassroots, bottom up kind of decision making is what we're looking at and trying to engage folks, and to get people inspired to sit on these to a committee or participate in a focus group or even take a training, unless it's the parent. I think the parent groups would be responsive to this type of training, because that empowerment, especially for the women, in my opinion, would give them tools beyond parenting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And yeah, that's the group that I have in mind, but I can see it in other places too, at the health department.
That's precisely what we do here with this Empowering Women project, empowering women in community leadership for healthier families. So we really, the purpose is to really encourage women to serve on local community boards, and whether it be schools, within schools or health committees. This project has a focus on lead poisoning prevention and FASD. And so it has really, and we've been doing this for this project for 3 years now, and then a similar one 3 years prior to this, where we worked with adolescents and women as well. We've really seen across the state in all different communities, folks speaking, in their own their own cultural communities, really rising to leadership positions, within their local districts. And then, and then they're invited and they come, provide testimony at the block grant, or they become leaders in statewide coalitions and things like that. So yes, long way around to say we have seen success for a number of years now in doing exactly that, like building the capacity of for community leaders, for women, particularly women, to really be, become leaders, find their own voice, and advocate for themselves, for their families, for their children, and then beyond that, become advocates and leaders for their community, the needs of it. So
I think a lot of the hesitancy to join the conversations is the fear of the skill level. And I think this kind of training would bring their confidence up to step forward and engage, and think they would never dream that they would ever do. And would be perfectly capable of if they had this training.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Mira, one of the things I'm going to check for you, because like I said, we did do the survey on groups throughout for many different state organizations. I'm going to check in my list to see if anyone from Arkansas took the training, and then I can connect you with that person or persons. Because if they did, then they can come and do the trainings for you or for a group that you want, and they can do a trainer, they can do the training. So I'm gonna do some research and check, because I have a list of over 100 people that have taken the training, and I'm hoping there's someone from Arkansas that took the training. And then I can connect it for you.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
And you put your information in the chat, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say that one of the other things that we will have this year, which you may find could be something you may want to take a part in. I'm going to switch my hat here. I'm going to put my LFPP hat on. And so one of the things we've been doing for the past couple of years is having people fill out an application to become a collaborative action team. And so we have representatives from different states. So usually this past year we had 3 states. I was working with a team from Kentucky. They had someone from Title V on there, from early childhood on there. They had someone who worked with home visiting. They had people who worked in family organizations. And so that team developed this program around parent engagement and leadership. And what they did, and what I talked to them a lot about is, okay, so you're in Kentucky, what are you going to do about being culturally responsive to everyone? Because I heard you say, about how families you work with or have seen, worry about, well, maybe I don't have enough. And so what they did was create this 3-tier leadership program, where if a parent is like the starter parent, this is where you fit in at. If you're kind of in the middle, have had some training, but you're not sure if what else you need. And then they had another tier for the higher level parent. And so what they're gonna, and I'm gonna be, they just finished their plan. And so I'm gonna be checking in with them shortly to see how they're doing. But they partnered definitely with their Title V office to be able to get the green light to go with this. And so that could be something. I'm just making a little advertisement here. We will have the openings for applications. I think the invitation will go out, I think sometime in August, late August. So I can certainly send that out, the invitation to you if you're looking at maybe wanting to put together a collaborative action team. So. And some of them use the survey on groups tools, actually. Some of them do it.
Such a great wealth of information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I actually have a question for you since you just plugged a new opportunity. I wanted to avail everybody here to another opportunity that I know that you all have taken advantage of, and just want to say congratulations for being awarded emerging practice
Oh,
status
yes.
in AMCHP's Innovation Hub.
Yes, we
And
are.
just wanted
Proud of
to,
that.
yay, I just wanted to ask you to talk a little bit about that application process and to tell others here what that's been like, and kind of suggest that others may want to apply for Innovation Hub too through AMCHP.
Yeah, so how that happened last year, because normally we would only do a poster. We're like, Jeannie, like, let's try to do a training this year because we're going to be in person. This one we're going to be in person. And so we said, okay. So last year we did a poster about the tiers of the project. And so the individuals who work at the Innovation Station Hub reached out to me. And I said, oh my gosh, Jeannie, they want us to apply to be a practice. I was like, that is amazing. So Jeannie and I, we work extremely well together. So our brains, when we're writing like grants and things like this, our brains tend to become like one. We said, okay, what do we have already written up that we can use? And so I think we took some information from our grant and some information from various things that we've done, and wrote up the application. It was a little intense, a little bit, because we had to break down things around culture and race and things like that. And we were able to really do it effectively and get the application in. And then we submitted it and we said, okay, let's see what happens. And then we, got the word that we were selected as an emerging practice. You're welcome. Okay. And so it's really exciting to have the project be recognized at a national level within AMCHP, because we know that when someone sees that or reads it and they want to reach out to us, that could mean, a duplication of the project somewhere. Maybe someone wants to fund it on a different level, things like that. But I think for me, and for us, it's about that we know that we are really doing really great work in providing support and education to women of childbearing age, and helping to ensure that we can do the best that we can with the information that we share to women to help them to be able to have children to have healthy lives and keep their lives healthy, right? Because we want women to be healthy. So.
Yeah, and I would add, thank you, Nicole, and I would add to that, we really appreciate that AMCHP appreciates and recognizes that the way to build capacity is to, the way to make change, I should say, I said it backwards, the way to impact change or, really make change for our families is through building the capacity of community leaders to be able to do that. And this model does that, exactly does that. And so we are grateful to AMCHP for recognizing that this model works, and that, we want to be able to share it with our partners, not only in New Jersey, but across the country. We're happy to do that. So thank you, AMCHP.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your insight into the process. So I do encourage you to look into Innovation Hub and consider any innovative things that you're doing. This is to the participants. Any innovative things that you're doing may be something worthwhile to share with us in Innovation Hub. It is an arduous application process. I actually just started at AMCHP less than a year ago, and I'm just so pleased to have been a reviewer on the most recent round of applicants for Innovation Hub. And it just makes me very proud to be part of this organization. Like Nicole alluded to, we do go in extensively with questions about how health equity is being considered, and considerations around biases
Yeah.
and evidence in a traditional sense, but also in a non-traditional sense as well. Because as you said, Jean, we really realized that, yeah, the way to make change is really to encourage community level practices and to give those things support. So I did put the link to Innovation Hub in the chat as well. Boy,
Yeah,
you guys
it
been
has
having
really,
fun.
and we, um, being recognized, having this project recognized by AMCHP in this way helps to support our efforts in terms of, funding. Our funder is very impressed by, that because it's not just, SPAN being recognized, but, our funder, owns the work, right, so to speak. So, they too, and that's the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Office of Developmental Disabilities. So, they're also very proud of this opportunity that we have had through AMCHP to the point where they have invited Nicole and I to come speak, to the commissioner, the commissioner's delegation.
Yeah,
I know that's the wrong title, but for the group, but
task force or something. Yeah.
yes, the commission's task force, I think, on developmental disabilities, and so we've had that opportunity to speak to that task force, and I know that they'll call us back again. So
very good.
Yeah, so it's got a, it's got a. We have a long reach, a lot of tentacles because of the opportunity to be part of the innovation network.
And I was too. I was able to be a reviewer, to be on the other side, and I remember the application I was reviewing, and I was like, okay, so I need to be really blunt that there is no what's the word I'm looking for? Like they kind of skirted around the ethnicity piece, equity piece, and I was like, oh, it's not here. And it just so happened the other two people, my group, we were all thinking the same thing. We're like, we need more. If you say you're going to be serving Black youth, then you need to say that, and don't be afraid to say that. And I think people kind of tiptoe around that. And like in our project, we're not afraid to say that. We're not afraid to say, we are looking at Black women, brown women, Hispanic women, women of different colors and ethnic groups, because that's where our reach is. Although we have a variety of different women that different things, but that is our reach, and we are not afraid to say that.
Yes.
In our applications, in our recent application that we are waiting on the yes word, because I'm going to say it's a yes word, right? Like we put it in there, we said we're going to service this group and that group and this group, and not being afraid to say it, right? So
amen. In my recent experience as a reviewer, I had the same exact thing happen, although I was extra sensitive to there being some lack in the equity related areas. I was glad to have the space to recognize that and to really lift that up. And in the end, the other reviewer seemed very appreciative of that. And I think that all of us in our respective roles as our organizations need to just make sure that we are just bringing light to that every chance we get. And it really does help to move the needle.
yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And that's why, I'm glad AMCHP is definitely, I've had the opportunity to be on one of those, the coffee meetings
Chats with Terrence.
Yeah. And that was a lot that he talked about, and I talked about it, and I said, we have to look at equity across races, the inequities around Black and brown people and Hispanic people, all the things that lack of healthcare, finances, and still trying to get those things, you know, and even for myself, you know, even though I know everything that I need to know for my children, and even for my son, who's a young Black man with a disability, even as early as last year, still faced over the phone discrimination because I needed to find counseling for my son. And like, well, we don't service people with disabilities yet. He has to talk to us. And I was like, in that instant, I said, you know, she really doesn't know who she's talking to. So I could really handle this in a few different ways, you know, but even with that, you know, and I'm like, okay, you know, I eventually found a place, but, you know, we have to teach women and families, you know, who are facing these inequities not to give up, and now we have to keep pushing through and giving them the tools to be able to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I feel like that is a really fitting place to end. Again, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you so much to Nicole, Gabriella, Heather, and Suzanne for sticking around to hear the end of this conversation. Our final plenary is coming up at 3:45 with the Assistant Secretary, Admiral Levine. And yeah, so we're going to kind of focus on the future. I hope that you've enjoyed this afternoon. I know I have.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Stacy, and everybody. Have a
Bye,
good day.
everybody. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Jean.
Bye, Nicole. See you later.